Okay, Joe Marler yesterday announced his retirement from Test rugby at the age of only 28. He's the same age as me, and he's already called it a day on his Test career. I'm surprised that he's done this, but I understand why. He has mentioned the time away from his family and his close friends has been affecting him for quite some time. Bearing in mind he's been playing Test rugby since 2012. He's got 59 caps to his name. That's not including his Lions caps. These are just for England. Also, he has also mentioned he wants to focus more on his club career as well and prolonging that as long as possible. Now, Joe Marler is a divisive figure on the field. He's a controversial figure on the field for some of the antics he does on the field. He's a very abrasive character in a rugby sense. But away from the game, you've got to look at his interview, which he gave yesterday, which I watched this morning on the news. And he's very affable and he's very open about what has led him to this decision. And this has been an ongoing issue for Joe Marler since he got into the squad in 2012 and he first represented England all those years ago under Stuart Lancaster. This says to me, though, a far deeper issue, and that is with Eddie Jones and that coaching setup, and whether it's the right coaching setup for player welfare, both physical and mental. Because the amount of players who've been injured in his training camps under his training regime is stupidly high. You just have to look at the Six Nations for England's injury list and how big it got with training related injuries as well. And you've also got to look at some of the issues off the field, away from the training pitch with players, and actually managing these issues and actually sitting down and working man to man with players and face to face or in small groups. There is some kind of issue here because there seems to be not necessarily a united dressing room. Um, and some of the selections are now a bit puzzling when you've got players in form at clubs like Exeter who are doing really really well, and only two players are in the training squad. That's not right. If this team is regularly up in the top two in the table and has been for several seasons now, alongside Saracens, surely you should look at the players in form. That Exeter is a squad in form. Saracens, yes, there are a few Saracens players in the in the England side, like Farrell, for example. But you still have to consider why are there less Exeter players getting called up and being in the mix. Two Exeter players made it into this last training squad, which could be a blessing in disguise because these training squads regularly injure players, and so Exeter fans could be going, "Thank God our players aren't going." The Cipriani omission as well, highly odd considering that Eddie Jones was saying, "I will select on what he does on a rugby field only." I can only think that there was pressure from above from the RFU saying, "Don't select that guy" or "Don't call that guy up," and also pressure from within the playing group because allegedly Owen Farrell's a prickly character who has a lot of weight within the dressing room as the vice captain. There's issues on a variety of issues on personnel, but it is surprising that at the age of 28, a player at the peak of his fitness and the peak of his powers, regardless of what you think of what he does on the field, both club and country, has decided, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, but you have to admit, his honesty in his interview is very telling. He does say the time away from his family has been tough and has distracted him. He's obviously missing home, and also he's not able to then give 110% or 100 how his full attention to his club side as well, who also could use his services. They're the one who pays his wages. Um, so he's been weighing this up for quite some time. The fact that Stuart Lancaster could keep a lid on it and Eddie Jones hasn't is telling. Regardless of what you think of Stuart Lancaster as a coach and his failure in the 2015 World Cup, the fact that he regularly, he was the guy who gave Joe Marler his break into Test rugby. Obviously, this issue's been going on longer than Eddie Jones, but he could still, work with the player if he had to drop him. It was probably for the personal reasons rather than the form. People question why Joe Marler been dropped. Here's probably why. Stuart Lancaster was managing him and his issue well. Eddie Jones, not so much. So that's one of the reasons why. But there you go. Joe Marler's called it a day at 28. Surprising it may be, but is what it is. He's not the first player to cite personal reasons for international retirement. He will not be the last in any sport. But it is striking that he's not even, he's just about on the midpoint of his career, and he's calling it a test career now. That's not to say he won't come out of retirement in a couple of years' time should the situation improve, but this is a year out from the World Cup, so this is a big concern for England going forward. At Vunipola, can he stay fit? And that now raises questions about selection of the front row and selection in general. If key players are saying, I don't want to do this anymore. It says something about Eddie Jones's coaching mantra and the culture around the England setup at the moment. And thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Place your thoughts below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon.